Are you tired of feeling like just another number in a sea of clients? What if I told you that there was a better way? I want to welcome you to the world or concept of the unad agency. The unagency. Stay tuned and listen to the rest of the episode. Hey there, welcome to the $1,000,000 Marketing Show. I'm your host, Jody Sodini. Dive deep with us into the marketing maze where we're going to tackle the big business questions head on, share expert insights, and crack the code on what it really takes to take your business to $1,000,000 and beyond. Whether you're a battle-tested entrepreneur or just stepping into the arena, this podcast is your arsenal for strategies that hit the mark, expert advice that you can bank on, and of course, a good laugh or two. So grab your drink of choice, settle in, and let's get ready to turn your business into a powerhouse together. All right, welcome back to another episode of the $1,000,000 Marketing Podcast. I'm Jody Sodini, your host, and today I'm going to talk about something that sets us apart, me apart from the typical agency model. I've had a lot of conversation about this recently. I just got back a week or so ago from a Digital Insiders CEO week with my coach, Julie Chanel. And I had a hot seat while I was there. And this topic came up about, am I an agency or am I a freelancer or am I a Facebook ads expert? And yes, no to all of them, right? Like it was so hard to define what am I, because I don't operate as a typical agency. And I don't want to be put in that box of an agency where people have had such bad experiences with an agency, and I don't operate exactly like all these other agencies. So it's completely different. So honestly, it's not the typical agency model. And a lot of people, they have felt like they're just another number in a sea of clients for for an agency. So this episode is really for you if you have felt that way before. We're going to be talking about our own unique approach to this and why I just, as of 5 minutes ago, decided to call myself the unagency. So I'm going to jump right in. One of the biggest challenges that I see with traditional ad agencies is that they have a cookie cutter approach. They have a set process. They have SOPs for everything. And while that might sound efficient, and it can be, it often misses the mark on what clients actually need. So for instance, I had a client named Michelle, and she was with a pretty big agency, and they weren't listening to her specific needs. They were setting up her campaigns in a way that did not fit her business model. As a result, she wasn't getting the results that she desired. She was not seeing profitability. She was actually losing money. And so when I stepped in and took the time to understand that unique situation, I customized our strategy accordingly. And guess what? It worked. If you go back and listen to one of my other episodes, I have a whole episode around that whole case study. I don't need to talk about the whole thing here again, but essentially we went from 0.8 ROAS up to about 3 ROAS in just 12 days. So I have another client. Let me tell you about this other client. We'll call her B. This weekend, she was on the verge of giving up on her ads. And in fact, she did say, she's like, I'm turning everything off and I'm canceling my subscription to FG funnels. And thinking that they're not working. And her quote was God's favor is not on it. And here's the thing. I love working with Christian entrepreneurs, but I do have to disagree with this statement, and for sure reach out and have a conversation with me about this if you want to talk about it, because I want to talk about it more. So in my opinion, it's not about divine intervention on whether or not your funnel and your ads are going to work. In my opinion, it's about data and strategy. So we need to make sure that we're constantly analyzing what's working, what needs improvement, and then adjust accordingly. And we have done that time and time and time again in this account. What I am seeing, in my opinion, is that cutting the budget prematurely sort of means we're shooting ourselves in the foot, because we're reducing the potential to reach more people and make the necessary tweaks in the funnel. Now, that being said, one of the other customized things that we do for clients is, if you're going to launch a new funnel, there are two pretty distinct ways of like approaching it, in my opinion. And I don't tell my ads managers, like, this is our SOP for launching a new funnel. We do have guidelines, but it could go one of two ways. Our clients are the ones that understand their risk tolerance, what their budget is, what they can afford to spend, what they can afford to lose, because let's face it, like Facebook ads are an auction. You're literally bidding to get in front of your ideal clients. And so you have to make sure that you have the risk tolerance to launch a new funnel, let's say, $100 a day, $1,000 a day, get that data back faster, make the tweaks, and then optimize and then scale once you see that profitability. Or you can go about it in another way where you can spend like $20 a day and just see what those initial soft stats are. How are the click-through rates? Are the audiences converting? Things like that. Um, that's an okay way to do it, especially if the client has a lower risk tolerance. If we only have a set budget for the month, I don't want to blow it in the first week on, ad copy and creatives that aren't getting the right click-through rates, or on audiences that have high CPM and high CPCs. So I don't want to waste that budget. So we have to really understand what the client's desire is there too. And we have that conversation for every single new funnel that comes in through our campaign request form. It talks about like, do you have a specific budget or a specific outcome that you're looking for? You see, I can take a client's budget and say, based on your budget, these are what our anticipated results are once we have this funnel and these ads dialed in. Or I can say, you want to make this amount of money. I can reverse engineer that and tell you what your budget needs to be. And then they're usually like, okay, yep, let's run with it. Or they'll say, oh, I didn't realize it was going to take that much money to hit my goal. I can only afford this much. So it's just that customized strategy. Like, I don't get it. This is not hard to do. But then again, for me, it's not hard to do because it's something that I've been doing for years and years, is customizing ad budgets and strategies and things like that, just to make sure that our clients are not just another number of like, we're spending your money and it's going away and not coming back. So we have to make sure that we are approaching that in a customized way. The other thing is that the budget has to be high enough to get those deeper funnel conversions. Here's where I think things were very challenging for this particular account B that I mentioned, is that the budget wasn't high enough to get those deeper funnel conversions. You see, just like Michelle, she was running a campaign that is a self-liquidating offer. We have several clients running self-liquidating offer funnels. Now, with that, I'm sure you know that the intention is to self-liquidate on the front end of the funnel, that the Facebook ad spend is paid for by that initial offer. It's usually $27 or something like that. And then maybe a order bump and then an OTO. And ideally, you've got at least one OTO, maybe a second one, sometimes a third one, a downsell, things like that. And then on the back end, you're even like doing a high ticket sale to that client. Now, I've had clients build 7-figure businesses just on their slow funnel. And then I have clients there where, they're bringing in and hoping to get like a 1 ROAS break even on the slow funnel. And then they're going to launch them and sell a high ticket thing. That was the intention here. But without people taking the OTO, we were not getting a high enough ROAS to make this sustainable. And because the budget was limited, you have to get enough people to the sales page for your one-time offer in order for that to convert at a level of profitability for your overall funnel. It's just math. It's just math. And so that was one of the biggest areas where we struggled. So reducing traffic because you're reducing your budget means fewer people see your OTO, which is where that profitability happens. So like I said, that self-liquidating offer aims to break even on the front end, but that doesn't account for like agency fees or other expenses. So you've got to have like a converting one-time offer or upsell and enough traffic to get people deep into the funnel and to convert there. All right, so this actually brings me to a common misconception around those low ticket or small ticket offers. A lot of people think that they need a one-to-one approach for everything, right? That you have to have that high ticket, like one-on-one. The reality is though, that once someone buys something from you, there's a higher chance that they're going to buy again, especially on the back end. And that's why I thought this was super smart for her to be running this during the summer and getting that list of paid leads coming in to where, she can sell them her high ticket thing in her fall launch. So I think that's fantastic. It's thinking long term and building those relationships over time, and having that profitability down the road. It's simply, like I said, a risk tolerance thing, right? You have to understand that. So this brings me to another point of one other thing that makes us stand out. I'm not aiming to be this huge impersonal agency where you're just another number on our roster. I don't want like a number. I don't want a business that's massive and the clients feel like they're, it's just generic, or cookie cutter. And that's why I've even considered rebranding from Sodini Marketing to just my name, like Jody Sodini, simply to emphasize the personal touch that we bring. So essentially, like, I'm a hybrid. I'm a blend of expert guidance, coaching, and customized implementation. Like, it's not DIY, it's done for you. I'm not just handing you off to a team. You get direct communication with me. You get strategy from me. You get me in every single account every single day. So that's a huge thing that sets us apart. And during that hot seat in Connecticut, it was like, so what do I call myself? Because I'm an agency, but I'm not an agency, and I'm not just a coach. We do done for you. But there's also that saying of like, jack of all trades, master of none. And I don't know if you know the rest of that saying. It's jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. And that being said, like, I have people that are specialized in different verticals inside of my business. I have, the media buyers. I have my creative team. So I have a creative director, a copywriter, a graphic designer, video editor, and then I have my marketing support tech, who's my son. Super proud of him. And within each of those verticals, like, they're all experts at their specific thing, and I could do all of that. I really could. But then I wouldn't get to focus on the thing that I'm really best at, which is the building the relationships, the strategy, the, deep diving into the numbers and the data and the funnel math, right? Like, I wouldn't have time to do all of that if I was trying to do it all myself, especially at the level that we're at right now. So I can serve more people if I have a team, but yet I'm not an agency. So it's just so interesting. I feel like I'm in this weird phase. So one of the other cornerstones of my approach is referrals. So most of our clients come from people referring them to me, which really honestly speaks volumes. I do not take that for granted. It's not lost on me how valuable relationships and referrals are. But it speaks volumes about like the trust and satisfaction of our current clients. And instead of me focusing on a high volume of impersonal leads, I'm really invested in building strong relationships with people. So this isn't something that you see in larger agencies where the owner is like far removed from the day-to-day operations. They're just like the face, and you're like, oh, I want to work with that person. And then you go work and then you never talk to that person. So that's a really interesting place where I'm different as well. So, all right, lastly, I want to talk about scaling. So a lot of agencies get so big that the owner becomes super disconnected, and then the churn rate goes up because clients don't get that personalized attention that they need. And I believe that there is a balance. I can grow enough to have a solid support team, but not so much that I lose the personal touch. I just got chills. Like, I can grow enough, and I have grown enough to have a solid support team, but I'm not going to grow so big that I lose that personal touch that my clients want and that I want to give to them. Like, I deeply want to give that to them. I want to ensure that every single client on my roster feels valued and heard, and that their strategy is specifically tailored to the needs of their business and their goals, right? That's super important to me. So there you have it. We're not your typical agency. I guess for the unagency, I'm prioritizing the relationships, the customization, the genuine care. Like, I truly care for my clients, and for their success. So if you're tired of feeling like just another number on a huge roster, reach out to me. Shoot me a message on Instagram. It's Jody_Sodini on Instagram. I really want to build something amazing together with you. Thank you so much for listening to the $1 Million Marketing Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review, and then also come back next week. Thanks.